Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. Over the past 7 years, we've understood what matters most to you, the entrepreneur. And in year 8, we're taking head-on 2 of your most pressing concerns, that of funding and mentoring. I'm Sunanda Jayasheelan. On the radar tonight, 2 pre-budget conversations. First up is with the National Spokesperson of the BJP, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. On the other side of a break, we're in conversation with BookMyShow. Our first conversation tonight is with the National Spokesperson Economic Affairs of the BJP, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. I asked him about what small businesses can look forward to when it comes to Budget 2020. Also, as the former head of the MSME task force in the country, I asked him about why there are gaps in the implementation of the multiple government schemes that exist for small businesses today and what can be done to fix them. Take a listen. Thank you very much for joining us here in our studio for this very special pre-budget interview, talking very keenly about some of the issues that matter most to MSMEs. Who better than to talk to than yourself? You have, of course, been a part of spearheading the entire MSME task force up till very recently, and as the BJP spokesperson on economic affairs, watching closely what's happening in the economy. My question to you first and foremost, Mr. Agarwal, is that you've been holding several pre-budget consultations with different stakeholders. But if I was to narrow it down to talk specifically about small businesses, SMEs, MSMEs, startups, what are some of the key concerns?
The most important concern that has been brought out to us is the credit flow to the MSME. And the second important they are talking about is working capital requirement because of the GST and other changes in the system of payment of indirect tax and other initiatives by the government. They are finding it difficult to meet their working capital requirement. So that's one challenge that they want the government to immediately resolve. Because of the larger cycle of GST returns, refund, etc., that is coming as a challenge. Then with regard to NPA and the stricter norms with regard to credit and identification of NPAs and the resolution, etc., there is this is an important that they want a separate mechanism for identification of NPAs, whether at the RBI level, SMA, or for resolution. Under the IBC also, they have certain considerations. So they say that if these 3 things are tackled, working capital requirement through the GST model, and the credit supply at the banking level more liberal and open risk averseness, reduce risk averseness from the lenders' point of view for this particularly MSME sectors, and then IBC or identification of NPA or resolution under the IBC Act. So these 3 things are tackled. Much of their credit and the fund requirement will see certain improvement. That's what they want.
Okay, so let's pick up the first issue, and you're talking about the credit flow really to the system. How is that going to get resolved? Yes, the budget is one of the ways in which perhaps we can see some measures, but it is a much larger issue. You're looking at NPAs at 10-year lows. Small businesses particularly have been most impacted because of the credit squeeze really coming into the system. What are some of the long-term sustained measures that need to be taken to benefit small businesses outside of just the budget?
I think GST is one reform that needs technological innovation and technological improvement at the GST network will itself help many of the issues particularly relating to GST credit, input tax credit and other things. And second thing is government will have to find out certain mechanism to finance their their liability or their TDS or all those issues with regard to tax issues with regard to their GST issues. Some banks should give some working capital on that, or that is one issue. And even they are finding certain reservations with regard to collateral policy of the bank, because if they have a collateral, they are finding some certain type of difficulty in the collateral when they are to give collateral for their loan. That is one important issue that can be resolved.
Sure.
Other important thing at the MSME sector is that they are saying that the small, micro and medium and putting them together is creating certain policy difficulties.
Okay.
So if the government can think about a separate policy structure or initiative with regard to small and micro industries particularly,
sure,
and not take out the medium and enterprise level, because manufacturing is where government needs to focus more. So they have been saying that put up a certain policy initiative based on small and micro industries, okay, and put out a separate structure or policies or initiative with regard to medium and industries and enterprises which are working in the services sector.
Sure.
So this I found to be a good demarcation which will help the industry as such. And some initiative by the government with regard to working capital, one of the very good initiative that I was on the board of Bank of Baroda also. So that time also this initiative, and it was our committee which suggested that trading platform for bill discounting with NSC and the PSUs and the government department and MSME sector,
sure,
listing their bill for discounting on this trades platform. So glitches at that level and more awareness about that. And even financing of bank, open financing and liberal financing on this platform will also help their working capital requirement.
Okay, I do want to talk about the fact that the budget is as much about numbers and announcements as it is about sentiment. Looking at the rest of 2020, we have seen the worst slowdown for 6 quarters now. The worst slowdown perhaps in the last 20 years is what we're staring at. Through this interview, one message that you want to give small businesses that are watching to say that this perhaps is what the trend you're looking at going forward into 2020. What do you want them to take away from this interview?
I would like to just give a message from your side, through your channel, is that MSME should understand that the government is very much aware and very much conscious of the economic challenges at the current level. We consider MSME as a very important segment of economic development, employment generation, growth for the country, growth for the economy, and at the global level also. The experience has been that the MSME has contributed a lot to the manufacturing sector and growth sector. So they should completely be at ease that the government is aware of many of the challenges that they face. Their stakeholders' demand are with us. We would definitely do a lot on ease of doing business, sure, creating demand for them, compliance level, ease, etc., and their credit flow requirement, etc. But we will focus on technological solutions. And the important thing is that at times narration in the economy is, and perception about the future is a important discussion around and helps in the economic growth. And this narration or perception is not alone built by the government.
Okay.
It has to be from the participants also. They should not restrict their investment. Their problems with regard to level playing field, etc., should be continuously brought to the government.
Okay.
We will tackle it.
Okay, you're talking about technology, and I very specifically want to talk about digital lending. NBFCs is a huge segment that we talk to. Fintech, of course, are companies that we feature very often here on the Leaders of Tomorrow. Reports suggesting 10 to 15% kind of growth in lending, particularly driven by fintech companies. Can we expect anything specific from the government for fintech companies?
Definitely, this is an area where Prime Minister has also said several times that artificial intelligence, service delivery are areas where India can have a very big potential we have a very large population of more than 137 crore population, which requires services in every field. So startup ecosystem, stand-up ecosystem is where government is focusing a lot, and certain tax incentives have been given, and we are trying through Atal Innovation Mission or streamlining of patent and technological transfer through this universities, academia, industry interlinkages also. So government is trying that this whole new ecosystem of startup and the new enterprises, service center industries, and IT-enabled services, where even we are trying to put up several industrial clusters specifically for specific industries. That's one thing that is on the card of the government, that we put up along the industrial corridor certain industrial clusters specifically for certain industries.
All right. On that optimistic note, thank you very much, and we hope to connect with you once the budget announcements have been made. Thank you for your time.
Very much.
Thank you. Time for a quick break. We'll continue this pre-budget special on the other side, though. Do stay tuned. Our second conversation in this pre-budget special tonight is industry-focused, and that is with Albert Almeida, the CEO of Live Entertainment at BookMyShow. I asked him what companies in his industry are expecting from Budget 2020. I also asked him what the biggest opportunities and challenges are when it comes to the live entertainment space in the country, and also what the way forward and some of the excitement that they're working on right now is looking like. Take a listen. Albert, good having you here on the show on Leaders of Tomorrow. Talking about an industry segment we don't talk about very often on Leaders of Tomorrow, and that's as far as the entertainment industry is concerned, both online and offline. Let's start though by talking about BookMyShow as an innovator. You've had the fortune and the misfortune, if I can call it that, of being an early mover in an industry which is evolving as we speak. Let's talk about really that journey and what it has meant to be really the front runner in the space.
Interesting that you ask, and it takes me back in time to 1999 when actually Ashish and me were colleagues in Hindustan Thompson Associates, which was the erstwhile JWT. And I think Ashish went on a vacation to South Africa, and like they say, the apple fell on his head, and he decided that he wants to venture into the online ticketing space. But that was way before things were online. So when he came back, he quit the agency and decided to embark on this journey with two of his batchmates from management school. And so the journey of BookMyShow began, but it was not BookMyShow then, it was Big Tree Entertainment, and it first really ended up being a concierge service for tickets, where people would call in or would log on to the website and ask for movie tickets.
Sure.
But like every .com dream in that era, it went bust very soon. Sure. But I think the true test of a great idea and the people behind it who share a passion for that particular idea and is when the chips are down.
Sure.
And I think the way we've clawed our way back, and from 2004 to 2007, before really India went digital and data went the way it went, the three founders actually cobbled up enough courage to say, you know what, the idea is still there, and therefore built a back end for online movie ticketing.
Sure.
And in 2007 was when the consumer brand BookMyShow was born, and there's been no looking back since.
Okay.
The growth has been, like you've seen, it's been a hockey stick growth in terms of the number of consumers that come to us to buy tickets online. And just to share a few numbers, we get as many as 5 billion page views a month, 200 million visits, and we sell on an aggregate basis in a year 200 million tickets today.
Sure. So we started this interview by me calling really being in this space misfortune in some sense, and I'm referring only to the regulatory environment. Any of your peers that we talk to say that it's a very tough industry to be in, not because of the lack of opportunities. There's a massive opportunity waiting to be tapped in India, but because of the regulatory environment, it's a very tough business to be in. For a small entrepreneur who's watching this interview, before we get into the nitty-gritties of GST, your expectations from the budget, etc., I do want to talk about are you happy with with how things have really moved when it comes to government policies, etc., for your business? Of course, there's much more to be done. But in the many years that you've been here in this industry, are you happy with the changes you've seen on the ground?
Well, I think there have been positive changes, and the disposition towards live entertainment and experiences is getting more and more favorable. But I think we still have a long road to travel, because we're kind of dealing with infrastructure which is really not there for quality entertainment. We're dealing with like you rightly said, GST rates which are significantly high, which puts us at a significant disadvantage with countries anywhere in the world, whether it's the neighboring countries and stuff. But in spite of that, I would like to say that there's a conscious attempt by governments both at the national level, at the state level, to kind of collaborate and help. And I think they're beginning to realize that with live entertainment comes commerce. We saw what happened with a very, very large IP called Sunburn that was almost shunned away from Goa for whatever reasons. But this year we were welcomed back, because we actually brought back not just vibrancy, but brought back tourism and commerce to Goa for that period of the Sunburn and leading into the New Year.
Sure.
So I think we are seeing that change, and we hope that there'll be a lot more. And like I said, as people who are setting the agenda for live entertainment 2.0, if I'd like to call it, the onus is on us to keep chipping at it and hopefully working towards things like single window clearance for licensing. Because today, it's you just got to keep going from one window to the other to get permissions to do a live event. And I think there can be a lot more that can come from the government, and we believe it will happen.
Okay. Speaking of that, your top 2 or 3 asks from the government when it comes to the budget.
Well, I believe that we should be seen as an industry that's like I said, it's contributing to the economy of the country, whether it be in terms of people spending more money on live entertainment, whether it's employing more people, whether it's creating more sustainable communities around the kind of IPs we build across the country. So I just believe that the disposition needs to change, and we need to get some favorable breaks, because we are dealing with, like I told you, inefficiencies on the infrastructure side. And whatever comes our way will really help us in investing back in delivering great consumer experiences and building a robust live entertainment industry for a country that's young, a country that seeks more of this. And if you look at our peers around the world, they're doing it regularly, and they've made a solid industry out of live entertainment.
Okay, I want to use this next answer, as some sort of like a masterclass into BookMyShow, if I may, and ask you to talk to our viewers. You started your answer by saying that BookMyShow, you started as an online ticketing platform, but you're increasingly looking at live entertainment. What is the breakup right now as we speak? If you can share any numbers in terms of revenue between your online ticketing platform and live entertainment, where are the opportunities for 2020 for a small entrepreneur who's watching this interview when it comes to the live entertainment space, to say that this perhaps are some of the trends that we're looking at, this is something that you're perhaps excited by?
So again, to just give you a sense of the split, we still get 65% of our revenues from the movie ticketing business. It drives a lot of our community, and that really gives us the ability to do what we are doing in the live entertainment space. The reason why we are where we are in the live entertainment space is because we really want to make sure we build a sustainable economy of live entertainment, and do those things that some of the promoters who've been, small entrepreneurs, etc., have not been able to do. and do it on the back of great technology, a lot of rich data that we have,
sure.
and the fact that yes, we're willing to make investments for the future. And in doing that, we just believe that not just us, but all boats will rise with the tide. So my advice to young entrepreneurs is, put your consumer first and make your consumer the king. Deliver a great experience to the consumer because he's paying you the dollar. And if you want him to come back, the only way he's going to come back is if you've been able to give him great value, which means the experience has been far better than his expectation.
In the live entertainment space, would you say a lot of it is perhaps being dictated by cricket and events like that? Are there opportunities outside of that businesses and companies like yours are tapping?
Well, certainly. I just think that yes, cricket has been is a phenomenon in India. It's just a coming together of things that have made Indian cricket what it is. And today we've got number of huge heroes that people look up to, and that's built a huge industry for us. But having said that, I just believe there are significant opportunities, in fact, in the live entertainment space. We've been seeing breakout opportunities, not just in cricket, but in other sport activity outside of cricket. I think one of the interesting things is the Pro Kabaddi League, where Kabaddi is like a sport which was played in small town India and almost forgotten, but today you've brought it onto national television. It's slickly produced. Each one of those Kabaddi players are styled so beautifully that they've become icons for India too. So I think that's one great example in the sports area. So I just believe that there are a lot of opportunities, and I think we tend to go for the obvious ones. But my advice again to young entrepreneurs is do your work, figure out who's really like breaking through, and deliver great consumer experiences on the back of content, what you do around it, and I think that's the recipe for success.
All right, that's our show tonight. If you have any feedback for us, our contact details is up on your screens in just a moment. Do let us know. But as we're ending the show tonight, I do want to talk about something that we here, the leaders of tomorrow, are very excited by, and that is our association with OddUp, the most trusted name when it comes to everything that you need to know about startups, which the hottest ones are as we speak, what their future evaluation is, what their trends are, etc. This weekly incisive capsule brings you a one-stop shop as far as all the information on India startups are concerned. Tonight, we're putting the spotlight on Stylecracker. Take a listen.
Stylecracker is located in Mumbai and was founded in 2013. The startup's total funding raised is $1 million. At its last round of funding, the company's current valuation stands at $4 million. Taking a closer look at funding details, Stylecracker has raised $1 million in seed funding. That's a wrap of our Startup Monitor for this week. We will continue to bring you the most in-depth content on the startup space week after week, right here on Leaders of Tomorrow.